Nice.
Yeah, man. Thanks for being here.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I'm so glad you came. We always cross paths in one way or another, online or in life or whatever.
Yeah.
I always see you doing stuff. I'm like, man, I really want to talk to this guy in person for more than just a second or two.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to have you here.
Congratulations on the book. I love it.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I gave you a copy, right?
Yep.
Early, yeah. So have you had a chance to look into it at all?
Not yet, but we're heading out of town Sunday, and I'm gonna jump in while we're on vacation. So
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah, you have to let me know what you think.
I will.
Where are you going?
Miami.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
Yeah. That'll be good. Have you been?
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. We go to South Beach and chill.
I love South Beach.
Yep.
It's expensive, though.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I found the secret last time I was there. Maybe you know this, but like if you just go one street off the beach, everything's half the price.
Yep. Yeah. I'll be carrying waters from 3 blocks away, you know.
Yeah. I'm not above that at all. No way. Yeah, I walked into one place on South Beach and I ordered a drink and it was like $46 or something. Yeah, I mean, they had to include cover charge and seat charge and something. I was like, okay, this is over my head. I just wanted a drink.
Yeah. Well, I got a case of water. We went in and it was $20-some for a case.
Yeah.
So
it's tough being from the area we are. Our cost of living is great here.
yeah.
It's tough to go to another area. Sometimes I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah.
It costs as much to park in Chicago as it does for a car payment here.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the cops might ticket you anyway.
Right, yeah. Yep. Or worse.
Right. True.
Who knows? Oh, man. So we're here. There's good reason we're here. I'm going to take a water break, though.
That sounds good.
I was just outside watering my plants and it made me thirsty.
Yeah, I did a run this morning, and it's been busy, so I really haven't rehydrated yet.
Yeah, you're always doing something. That's what I want to talk about. Man, you own your own business.
Yep.
Absolutely Wright cleaning company, right?
Correct.
Yeah, and you guys are always out there on social media and doing a lot, and I'm sure you stay pretty busy.
Yes.
Yeah, and you're also now you're gonna have to tell me about White Feather Red Rock. So that's a company that you're part of.
Right.
That does. And is that your wife that works with you on that one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. That's pretty cool too. That's wedding planning and decor. That's semi custom stuff.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah. Both. So you run 2 companies. That's a lot of work.
Yep.
Yeah, but somehow. This is what I like about you and I write about this in my book, you know, the regular routine for people is do what you have to at work or whatever and then get done and relax in some way. A lot of people, you know, watch TV, smoke weed, drink, whatever, just spend their time relaxing when they're not working. And what I argue for people to do is do your obligations during the day and look at them, you know, with gratitude that you have a purpose or whatever and give them all of your attention and do well, sure.
Right.
But then when you're done for the day, that's your time.
Right.
That's your time to get to pick your next challenge, to get into a great adventure, to like do something other than relax. And I see that happening. You're like the best example. I always tell people, I'm like, this dude is our local David Goggins. I mean, you're running marathons, ultra marathons, fighting in MMA matches. You're doing these challenges, fitness challenges, and they're not little ones, like 365-day challenges, 100-day challenges, just wild stuff, man. And you're always on social media just being positive and encouraging and stuff. And I just kind of wanted to hear from you, like, how did you get where you are, and what do you think makes you able to do that?
I got sober July 21st of 2010. I was a drug addict, bad, and alcoholic from 13 to 35.
Oh my God.
So I've been sober, drug and alcohol free, almost 14 years. And about a year into my recovery, I didn't go to rehab or anything. I actually went to my parents' house, and I asked them if I could stay there and them watch me like I was a 5-year-old. I was 35 years old.
And you asked for that.
Yeah. I got arrested 12 times. I was a great drug addict. I was a good criminal. You know what I mean?
Had a lot of follow through.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, and honestly, I was really pushing death, and
Yeah, I'll bet.
I was on fentanyl and crack, and I did it all, minus the needles.
Yeah.
That was my line. Because somewhere inside of me, I always wanted to get sober.
Sure.
And I couldn't, anytime I would try. And so, to make a long story short, I get popped. I was a street fighter, I just all that stuff. And I wasn't dying, and I was trying. I was suicidal. I was mixing stuff, and any time I thought about it, it wasn't that I didn't have the balls to put a gun in my mouth. I'd see my mom's face, and I'd be like, oh shit, I can't. And I thought about hell, going to hell. Those were two things that kept me from not blowing my brains out, basically. That's where I was at for a long time. And I would try to embrace being an addict, because I couldn't beat it. But when I woke up, I'd been in jail, and I woke up, and I was ready to stop and fight, and I went out there, and I told them everything that I was on, and they knew, but they didn't know how much and all that.
Sure.
So they said, yeah, we got you. You can stay here. And so that's when the fight started. But about day 5, and I hadn't been drug free for years, my 5th day, and I did it cold turkey. I knew if I went to rehab or methadone or any Suboxone or any of that, I'd abuse it. I knew that.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to get, I was eating Xanax. I love Xannies,
Really?
In the street. And basically the 5th day, I was ready to give in and give up. And I went and laid out in their driveway. They live in the country. That would have been July 26th of 2010. And I was ready just to go back to the street. And I wanted to be sober so bad, man. I could taste it, and I was so hungover and sick and withdrawn and pissed and crying, and in 1 minute ready just to smash somebody. You know what I mean? And all of it was coming out. But I laid out in the ground, and I prayed for the first time, and I hadn't been to church or dealt with God or anything. I mean, I was rolling with the devil strong, and I just prayed, man, for strength and to get me through that moment. And it was like God just reached inside of me, and he was like, I got you, I'll be your strength. Let me have that, And I mean, it changed my life, because I got up and I went back inside, and I didn't leave, and right there, I went in and ate a shitty Hungry Man TV dinner. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, and it tasted so good. It was better than jail food than anything else I had.
Something to be grateful for.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you know what, man? It changed that how I fought, and the cravings to get high didn't go away. I just started praying all the time, and it was all day long. I mean, because I can't explain to people that don't have addictive personalities how an addiction really rules you, and once you're into, and it can be other things. It doesn't have to just be drugs or alcohol. It can be gambling, porn, whatever it is.
Yeah.
There's a million addictions that.
Yeah. Scrolling, social media.
Yeah.
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 Dopamine addictions. Sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. Man, I got lots of questions about that, but I don't want to derail you too long. But I want to know, what kind of courage did it take to go to your parents like that, man? Was that, that seems like the first big change that happened, that you had to admit to yourself, I need help, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's hard.
Yeah.
And then to ask the people you don't want to disappoint, Jesus.
Yeah, man. I was desperate. And I woke up that day after, and I was ready to go all in, whether it killed me or I survived it or whatever the hell happened to me.
Is that the attitude you really need? I mean, there's a lot of people that might hear this. There's a lot of people struggling with that right now.
Yeah.
Especially in our country.
Yes.
And, they're listening to this and they're wondering, how could I do what he's doing? Is that the first attitude you need? I'm going to do this whether it kills me or not?
For me personally, that was it.
And it's worth it.
Oh, I ain't done drugs since, or alcohol. I'm not one of those guys that's smoking weed on the low. I'm not doing anything. I'm not,
Yeah, no, that's apparent. You run 50Ks and
well, there's a lot of BS out there,
Yeah.
and they're like, I'm sober, and
Yeah.
I see them,
Sure.
and their eyes are glassy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're in. So,
Yeah, that is a thing. I've seen people in my business come in and they'll go on and on in a very speedy voice with glassy eyes, telling me how they've been sober, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna listen because you're telling me what you want. It's just not happened yet.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm pull for everybody.
Me too.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
why I do what I do. It's for them. It's not for me. I mean, because I had to go out and pioneer my own sobriety. I knew nothing, man. There wasn't someone like me that I knew
Yeah.
that was helping or trying to be honest and real about the hell it is and the shit I had to sit in and work for and all that. I mean, all that wasn't taught to me. I just did it, and each day I did something different.
Mm. Yeah, and you mentioned that it had a lot to do with God and prayer, and
Yes.
you seem like you're a pretty devotional person still.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a very reoccurring theme. Like the most successful addiction rehabilitation, most of them will always tell you it has something to do with spirituality, some 10-step program or something that includes devotion to a religion or a system or how important do you think that is for people to get out of addiction?
It's everything to me. I believe it's super important. I believe in Jesus Christ, as the Son of God. That's my belief. And because I don't go around like, oh, you need, hit them on the head and heal them. You know what I'm saying? It's not like that. It's
very personal for you.
Yeah. I asked and God was there and here I am. You know what I mean? And I can't explain that. All I can do is tell you what happened to me.
That's perfect. You don't have to explain.
You know
yourself.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
that's great. So it doesn't hurt to ask.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
I think there's a famous biblical corpus quote about that. What is it? Ask and you shall receive. Huh? Yeah, it doesn't hurt to ask.
Yeah.
And listen.
Right.
Sure. That's incredible. Okay, so I want to get you back on track.
Gotcha.
So you managed to start being successful with recovery.
Right.
Okay, but that's way different than you are now. So you kept going.
Right.
What did it look like to you to keep going?
Because in the beginning, I started challenging myself. I took a writing course at IUK. You know, I had white shoes on and looked like a tool going in with a bunch of 19-year-olds. And I'm you know.
How old were you?
I was 35.
35, okay.
It was a fall of, you know.
Yeah.
I was getting ready to turn 36. I had, you know, new clothes on like as I was a damn 5-year-old going to kindergarten. And that's what I felt like, you know.
Starting over.
So stupid, you know.
Sure.
But it was cool because I went in there and I had the guts to do things that I didn't want to do. And to me, that's what's going on.
That's everything.
Is guts. Because and trying stuff, and you know, but that started it, you know. Things like that is what I started doing. And then that just wasn't enough, you know what I mean? Like I took some martial arts. I became an instructor for the pit. You know, I wasn't some certified guy in anything. I was just throwing down in the gym, setting the example and raising the bar. But, you know,
Yeah.
I joined that place and I'd be in the corner just going balls out, you know.
Yeah.
They'd be like,
They didn't even know what kind of devil you were
what
fighting,
the hell?
bro.
This dude's off the chain, you know.
Yeah.
And I am off the chain, and I don't
Good.
care, you know. If you see me running down the road and I'm growling, just stay the hell out of my way because I'm going, you know.
Yeah, I think most people will stay out of your way.
I mean, you know, but anybody can do that. You know that.
Yeah.
When you're giving your all.
It's in you.
And you're trying to release and let it out, you know, the stress of life or addiction or your, you know, your relationships, whatever it is, man. Life is stressful.
That's right. Yeah.
I don't care. That has nothing to do with addiction. That has to do with just daily grinding, you know. And when you can throw down and leave it out there, you know what I mean? Like that's the level that I try to show people. You can raise your own bar. You ain't got to do mine. I don't do your, you know, everybody do themselves, not each other.
Yeah. Everybody has their own personal path, you know, their own unique contribution. Yeah.
Right.
You got to go after it your own way. As long as you're going after it, that's what you're saying.
Yes.
Yeah, and giving it your all, man, that's something.
Yeah.
It's, you know, no half measures. If you're going to do it, do it.
Do it and just, I mean, you know, there's days that you're like, you know, I mean, hell, I'm 49.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. You're almost 50.
Yeah.
It's a few years old. I mean, not many. But you're out here like, I mean, the physical stuff you're doing is damn impressive for anyone. But at 50, close to 50, it's extra impressive.
I was working out with a guy. He's an MMA guy, and we were training in the back. And we were about an hour and a half into it last summer. And I go, nice job, you know, because we were banging on bags and smashing shit, you know, and going balls. And I respect this guy. And he's like, well, I ain't 48. Good job to you. And I don't see that, you know, because to me, it doesn't matter. I don't care how old I am.
Right.
My body, I make my body do what I say, you know, whether you're 49 years old or what, you're going to do it.
Love that.
I don't get a choice.
Yeah, that's so different than what it could be, which is a basket full of excuses.
Yeah.
It's so great that you make that choice. It is a choice.
It is.
Yeah. Yep. Either you're controlling your body or your excuses are controlling you, right?
Yeah, and I mean, I learned that just, I don't know, for me, it's been a progression. You know, I ran my first half marathon about 2.5 years into sobriety. I had never run a race. I wasn't really a runner. I'm a middle linebacker by
Yeah.
physique, and I was actually a lineman because I was mean. You know?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
A small lineman that take guys out because I didn't care.
Yeah,
You know,
totally.
and that's another story. But
Yeah.
that's so to say, you know, a marathon runner. I mean, when I'm lining up, there's I look out of place, and I love that. I want to be a lone wolf and take them out. You know, I mean, to me, that's even better.
Yeah, and it seems to have something to do with staying sober and conquering addiction, because conquering addiction is really conquering yourself.
Yes.
And a lot of people that have done it and made it, they also have found a lot of other ways to challenge themselves and conquer themselves, and like it's almost like they're working that muscle out. Do you think that carries into your character to help with staying in recovery, is that you're constantly facing yourself and challenging yourself and having victories over yourself? I mean, does that make you stronger
Yes.
in your character?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, and to me, it's an example. Like when I went on social media all those years ago and put my first sober day, people didn't do that.
Yeah, not then.
They didn't.
Luckily, it's more acceptable now.
I didn't care because I felt like a miracle, and I wanted, example. I was cleaning a carpet. We walked into this job. I worked for my mom and dad. They had a business as well, and the woman says, "Hey, I just saw you in the paper." And she pulls it out, and it's my mug shot. Back in the day.
Yeah, yeah, they used to do that. Did you say, "Oh, thanks"? Like
I was like, "Oh shit, sorry, Dad."
Oh well,
but
anyway,
it's
a good example though that anybody can be someone who's getting those kind of write-ups in the paper and change to the other person like you are now, that's getting recognized for great accomplishments and great victories.
And you can always do better, for sure. But I say all that because I wanted to, I guess I didn't start out to like try to do anything except keep myself accountable for my sobriety and be an example that you can change. And it
so from early on, you wanted to be a good example for other people too.
Yeah. Because I thought I felt so good, and different, and like I felt just it was my duty to spread the good news. That because I wasn't hanging with people that are one-hitter quitters.
Yeah.
I was hanging with, the shit that you get down, and I was freaking them out.
Yeah.
They were like, but
so they probably just couldn't believe it that that you got clean.
Oh yeah.
That's incredible, man.
Yeah, so
well, I'm glad you did. I'm glad you're here.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Me
seriously.
too.
You're a great example for people. You're an example for people that haven't been addicts. Like, just for anybody to do what you're doing, running businesses and taking on these challenges and being very focused on your devotion to what you believe in, and you're always very vocal about your devotion to your wife. And so I think you have incredible values and you have incredible standards, and you're not like a person that is a moral authority or pompous about it that judges others. You're a person that comes from finding out for yourself what's important.
Yeah.
And you seem like you really know what's important. So I think people should listen to you.
Oh, well, thank you.
And take your example.
I really appreciate that. And it's very it's a weird place to be because for me, I'm about as humble as they come. You know what I mean? Like I never want anyone to think, oh, well, that challenge, what, who cares? I want them to see it and be like, man, maybe today I'll get off my ass and I'll go walk to the store.
Yeah.
And then tomorrow, maybe I'll walk somewhere. You know what I mean?
Get them to the starting line.
Do something.
Just so they can learn for themselves, like, I can do this.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, because what I've learned about the 100-day challenges and those things, they spur more growth. And I always try to do the worst stuff. Like, I go into the fire because then you can't complain.
Yeah.
Why are you complaining about what you're doing when I'm over here doing this and I ain't complaining? I'm embracing the shit because it sucks and I hate it too, but I want you to go ahead and just, do your thing, but do it the best you can and start to grow from that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. I think I've had some experience with that too. I agree. There's a chapter in my book called "Learn to Love Struggle," to love struggle and love challenges. Like, I'm not going to get into it, but I learned that early on too. I had some trouble as a kid, and I got into wrestling.
Yeah,
and I was terrible at it, but I loved it. I didn't know why I loved it because I hated everything about it.
Right.
Like if you trained in wrestling in the '90s, anyway, I don't know how it is now. It was terrible.
Oh, I wrestled for a couple.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. 2 hours.
And I hated it.
Yeah. But it was this weird thing. It just kind of started growing on me. I was like, I love hating this.
Yeah.
It became a great outlet and a great way to learn important things like discipline and incremental improvement. It was my first real victory, I think, as a human.
Nice.
Because I was so bad at it. Like my first season, I won my last match. That was the only one I won. And it was just because somehow the kid was, worse than me. I didn't even earn it. But anyway, over time, lots of time, eventually.
So where did you end up?
Oh, I ended up being an outstanding wrestler.
Nice. What did you tell me?
I mean, I had a lot of the victories in high school in freestyle, the MIC championships, sectional championships,
nice.
Freestyle state championships, and I was ranked in the country at one point.
Were you?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, but if you'd have seen me in the first couple of years, you'd be like, this kid needs to quit. But that made me learn something. Like, well, maybe everything in life is like that. And maybe what you just need to do is go be terrible at it for as long as it takes. And I was like, 17, coming to this conclusion. And it's been helpful for me my whole life. I have to remind myself a lot. I get comfortable.
Right.
Because you do get successful when you learn discipline and incremental improvement.
Right.
I get comfortable for a while, and I start getting stagnant. And then I have to remind myself, oh, you're screwing up. You got to go do something hard. Do something uncomfortable.
Right.
Do something new.
Yeah.
And I think I agree with you on that's so important.
That's what an amazing age to learn that.
Yeah, it probably saved me from taking, and I've already taken enough shitty paths in my life. I can't imagine how worse it would be, how worse I would have done had I not had that experience. I would recommend that to anybody who has kids. Not
Totally.
necessarily wrestling specifically, but let your kids get into something really difficult.
Right.
That they'll fail at.
Yeah.
And encourage them to keep trying.
That's me too.
Like, I can't imagine a better thing.
I can't either.
Yeah, you think that's the case?
I do. I totally believe that. The challenges, I mean, I set them high, that 365 days in a row.
That's so much conscientious follow through, man. That's crazy.
I woke up and I was like, I told my wife, I'm going to do a 365-day challenge. And she looked at me and she's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to work out for the next year every day for 30 minutes. Every day. she said, okay, you know, because that's what what was going to happen.
Yeah, she knew she wasn't going to stop you, huh?
I mean,
It's a great goal, too.
so I get all the way to the end, and I get sick. I mean, I got really sick. And I don't ever get sick, really. Hardly ever. So I was training sick. I mean, I had 102 fever. And I was in there, you know, hitting a HIIT workout, sweating, you know, just ready to pass out, you know. And I did that for about 4 days in a row, and I wasn't getting better, you know.
Yeah.
And finally, she's like, I mean, seriously.
You're going to die, bro.
She tried to stop me, you know, day one. And I'm like, oh, hell no, I'm way too close.
Yeah.
This is a challenge, you know.
That's a test.
This ain't, we're not,
Yeah.
But, you know, finally I threw in the towel, and I felt terrible, man. I hated it. And so I made it, I think I was 10 days shy.
Mm-hmm.
So, people online, you know, and I had been putting it online. Well, it's okay, you know, pick your challenge back up. And I'm like, no, hell no. I failed the challenge. This isn't a participation ribbon for anything. I failed it. It sucks. I feel bad, but you know what? I'm not retrying this. I'm done, you know, with this one. So what happened was, I hadn't been to a dentist in about 15 years. And I mean, I had rotten teeth. And for about the prior 6 years, I was in pain, you know, here and there. And I wasn't in pain enough that I would tell my wife. Because she'd be like, let's go to the dentist, you dumbass.
Yeah. That's what wives are good for.
I know.
They're very good for that.
And I
do the same dumb shit. My wife saves me.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, my thing was, I was scared because I didn't know I wasn't going to do narcotics. And
I see.
that was why I wouldn't go. So I get better, and I start back in January. Without a challenge, I never announced anything. I just started going back to the gym, and that 365, I started doing it again without calling it a challenge. I was doing that.
You just started over.
Yeah.
For your own sake.
Right.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
As soon as I could, you know, I was still, I mean, you know, it was, I think I had COVID and blah, blah, you know, all kinds of shit. I don't know, but I was down and out.
Yeah, I love the way you don't make excuses about it, though. You just take responsibility. Yeah, it's clearly not your fault you got sick, but it's still your responsibility to make something of it, right?
Yeah, I mean,
I love that.
I just went right back to battle, you know, and I was hitting it every day. And but my tooth, man, it was really starting to hurt. And we have an account, a dentist office we've been doing for several years, their floors and stuff. And one day in January, I looked at my wife and I'm like, baby, my tooth hurts. And she's like, what? You know what I mean? Because I really hadn't told her anything.
Yeah.
For all that time. And we'd go on vacation, man. I'd be sweating, and I'd think, oh, shit, you know, when's it going to just get to the point that I can't, you know, I'm going to be in an ER somewhere.
You just kept living with it.
Yeah,
huh?
It was stupid, you know. But I called the dentist, and I told them. And they follow me on social media, so they know about my sobriety. At least some of the girls in there, but the doctors really didn't. And she's like, well, come in, you know. we'll get you taken care of. So I sat down, and this is very important. I've been to 2 doctors. One, my wife made me go and get a checkup. I hadn't been to any doctor in years. And I told him flat out when I sat down, I'm here. I'm fine. She's making me come here to for you to check me out.
Yeah.
But here's what you need to write on my chart. I'm a recovering drug addict, and I don't give a shit what happens to me. I will not accept narcotics. You put that on my paper. And I told him straight up right off the bat.
Good. What'd he say?
Okay.
Yeah.
Because, you know, and I did the same thing with the dentist, you know, and I told her, I said, I will get up and I'll rip my tooth out myself. I don't give a shit, you know.
Yeah.
I didn't know, you know, and that's, to me, being proactive with my sobriety and my recovery. It's that important, you know. I don't want to ever jeopardize it.
Yeah, it's great. It's fight for your life.
Yeah.
It's a worthwhile fight. Yeah, man. So then you keep accepting these challenges, and you keep creating these challenges, and you keep having these victories. And I've noticed you got some new stuff on the horizon. I just visited your website. It's BrentWright.com.
Yep.
And you have it set up to where you're going to start doing a lot more public speaking. Is that the idea?
Yep.
Yeah, and inspiring other people and informing other people. I fucking love it, man. What can you tell me about it?
Okay, so throughout all the years, on my 104th day of sobriety, I did my first talk at my parents' church. It was a recovery, a church that was very backwards to me, where they didn't, like, they weren't real. And for me,
The church wasn't real.
yeah, a lot of hiding shit.
Oh,
You know-
I see. Yeah.
You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Just
Everybody's
corrupt.
perfect, and you know.
Okay.
I went in and I blasted them with the truth, and
I bet that didn't go well.
they stood up and did a standing ovation.
That's great. That's so great.
That was in 35 years of that church. I mean, I was raised in it. No one ever had a standing ovation, and they had speakers for years. And it wasn't because I was great at speaking. It was because I had the balls to tell them the truth and God's power in my life, you know, and it moved them, you know, it moved the place. And it was cool because afterwards people were coming up to me and they were, I'm dealing with this, or you know, they got real.
Good.
With their problems or whatever. But I began to just take on more speaking. I mean, but it was always for free. I've always done it for free. I did dare talks, you know.
Mm-hmm.
One time I was surrounded by a priest and cops, and, you know, I was the speaker.
Yeah.
And it was just funny, you know, because they used to be seeing me in the cell or in the back of their
Yeah.
car, and, you know.
Yeah, what a great example of turnaround, though, man.
So
Was it weird though?
Hell yeah. I'm like, oh man, what, you know. But what was cool about it though, because, you know, every time I go to probation, I was a number, you know, or I'd have to go to AA and court order, and hell, I'd go there high on coke or, you know, whatever to get my paper signed, do the shit I was supposed to do. They never looked at you as a person, and I'm not speaking for all probation officers.
Sure.
In my situation,
Yeah, they're just doing their job, and
they don't really
You're just-
understand, and they don't really give a shit. Not all of them. I'm sure there's some out there that do, but
Sure.
the ones I dealt with seemed that they didn't really care, and neither did I, because I was a drug addict and I didn't want to be there. So I mean, it takes two to tango.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, you don't care, I don't care. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
What a weird dance.
you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can get hardened by that stuff, you know, on both sides of the fence.
Mm-hmm.
So it was cool when I became clean. I started looking at the cops different, you know, because I hated them for a time, you know.
Sure.
They were the enemy.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden, and you know, but it was weird. Like it was a growth period of just becoming a normal person, not a criminal.
Yeah.
That's a weird thing.
All the stuff people take for granted, yeah, that we all do.
Yeah, that was strange.
I bet it was strange.
I started, you know, I started doing stuff like I was a kid, you know, I'd be playing wiffle ball. I'd call up my nephews, hey, let's play some 21, and I'd school their ass on the court, you know.
Yeah.
You know, just stuff like that. I mean, and I was trying to just be a normal person, you know, and some of it I hated, you know, but it was kind of just, I was filling time, you know.
Yeah, I get it, man. So what do you want to see happen with the speaking? Like, are you hoping for bigger opportunities to talk to more people, make a bigger impact?
Yes. So about 2 years ago, I decided to really take it to another level. And, you know, because I have stayed on course, and, you know, websites aren't cheap, and upkeep and the cost of everything, and time, and, you know, I'm like, I'm going to charge finally, you know. I've done enough free ones, and here I am, and I believe in my heart that I have something that I can help them with, but I've got it.
Right, yeah.
Do you want it? You know what I mean? Like I can give it to you, but that's not free now.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's extremely valuable, and it costs you a lot to get the knowledge and experience that you have. It almost costs you everything.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's not, I'm not, you know, it's not some outrageous fee or anything, because my heart is to help them. But
yeah, I get it. I'm doing a similar thing with my book. Everybody has a different reason why they do things.
right.
My goal for my book was to meet my vision for my life right now. Part of it is to make a profound positive impact on other people, the world.
Yeah.
So my goal was with this book is to be able to do that first, and then second, be able to give away as many as humanly possible so people have access to it. But you can't just give stuff away because it costs.
Right.
Yeah, like on my website, there's a place where people can request a free book, and I'll send as many as I can. You know, they all cost money. Like everything about the process costs money, thousands of dollars for editing and printing and everything. So, and then there's a place I put on my website where people can donate $10 that buys someone else a book,
Nice.
which is like half the price of the book.
Right.
Yeah, but my goal is to give away as many free books as possible, but nothing's free. And we live in a capitalist economy, and everything has a value. So I need to sell quite a bit of books.
Yeah.
And that enables me to give more books and help more people. So I know what you're saying. Like, you have to charge.
Right.
And people that can afford to pay, they are happy too, is my experience.
Right.
They're very happy to pay for valuable experience and information. So go for it, man. Speak loud and charge.
Well, I just did my first paid speaking gig.
Did you?
Yeah.
How'd it go?
Awesome. It went so well, because this is where I never knew what they thought. You know, I get up there, I'd speak, and then I'd be done, and I'd leave, and you're going to keep rolling, you know, and you never know. I mean, minus messages here or there, and I don't ever talk about that kind of stuff. This, they had them fill out a question, a whole thing.
Oh, yeah?
What did you learn?
Oh, cool.
And it damn near made me cry. Like, those kids listened, man. And I was I was up there speaking, and, you know, I'm going off, and It's 45 minutes long, and I look out, and a couple are laughing, and I mean they're kids, and I'm just keep going, and I'm trying like I usually do them off the cuff, but this time, I mean, it was for a leadership group, for Kokomo High School.
That's a big school.
Yeah, and
so there's a lot of kids probably.
There was, but it wasn't the whole school. It was an academy or
sure.
Whatever.
Yeah, but if you're public speaking, like more than 10 people's a lot. That's scary, dude.
Oh, it was. Yeah. I was nervous.
Yeah.
But and I had an outline, and and I can ramble. When you get me rolling, I'll be rambling, and my wife will look at me like, shut up, and move on. But I had basically things I wanted to teach them so they didn't have to, what you learned on your own at 17, I was trying to teach them in 45 minutes from the beginning to, to now. And that's a lot because there's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Without boring them.
Right. You also have to make it intriguing and interesting so they remember it.
Yeah. So they're not falling asleep.
Yeah.
I got the feedback, and man, so tomorrow I asked the lady in charge, I said, do you mind if I share some of this feedback? Because I want to talk to every school in every place.
God, that'd be good.
Every school in this town, Indy, Lafayette. I mean, I'll go wherever. I don't care if it's in Timbuktu. I'm ready to bring the message. And she said, "Yeah, that's fine." She said, "I was blown away too by the feedback that the kids gave." And so it was weird, man, because once again, it's like I was thinking about doing a video and reading it. And then I thought, well, that looks kind of messed up. I don't want to read about what they learned from me. So I asked my wife, I'm like, will you read some of this stuff and you do it? So I don't look so damn stupid, or somebody gets
I know what you mean. I do that too. I have this problem with like, I don't know, self-flagellation or something. Like I don't take like compliments as well as I take criticism. I love criticism.
Yeah.
I don't flinch. I don't get upset. Even if it's unreasonable, I'm fine with it. But as soon as somebody starts telling me something I did really well, or if I have to say it, that's even worse. If I have to tell people how good I am at something, I'm like, oh God, I don't want to do that.
I know. And
can I just show them? Like I can't. It's something weird about talking about how awesome you are at something.
Well,
but you are awesome at it. Apparently, you get like, I think you're good at it. And apparently, other people do. And if you're getting through to kids, you're a miracle worker. I'm telling you.
I was quite shocked, man, and I'm so humbled, because just when you hear some of it, she'll
yeah,
read
we should have brought
stuff.
some. I would have read it today. That'd be fun. We'll have to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rachel, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Excellent. Yeah. She looks like a lovely person. So hopefully she does read some for you. Let me know and I'll share it around.
Okay.
For sure. I'd love for you to speak in every school in the country myself. What a great thing to hear. The truth, the dangers, and how to survive them at that age is a perfect thing. They should all hear that.
And then to thrive.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's never really thriving. It's more grinding and accepting,
there's no destinations, what you're saying.
No.
You're always after it.
It's all for life,
Yeah, I agree with that. I write a lot about that. Changing your mindset to this weird idea of permanent destination you're going to arrive to, changing it to like, this is what we do. Always. And
Amen.
I don't want it to end, because when it ends, it's over.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't wait. I've been your book, man.
I think it's really going to resonate with you, because you're very much like me in a lot of these ways.
I read the back and I thought, yeah.
Yeah, man, I think you're a great example for a lot of stuff. What you're doing and what you're saying and what you're speaking, man. I hope it all just keeps going really, really well for you.
And I appreciate that, and I don't have any plans on stopping. Just more growth, I mean, just more work and more helping people, as leading by example, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
That's outstanding. Yeah, I love it. I like to see a lot more of it from a lot more people.
I agree, and I believe that to me, honesty is key. I began to not give a shit a long time ago.
It's great.
I don't care. When I was in the dope game, I did a lot of stuff, and I'd hide from society, and I did what I had to do to survive, but I wasn't proud. I was, a piece of junk, a piece of shit, basically. And even though inside I was still had some good qualities, they were overshadowed from the dope and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And but when I got clean, my mindset changed, and I began to not only change my life, but it was more like, I'm going to be honest about all of it, because who cares? If they don't like me, then maybe I don't like you.
Yeah, you can't control other people's opinion.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I love that. I love the truth.
And
It's nothing to fear. It's where all power lies. And people say that all the time, but they don't practice. It's harder to practice than it is to say.
My first date with Rachel, I threw it out at her, and she looked at me like, "You crazy?" But
She didn't run away.
I liked her, man, and I thought, you're gonna know, and you're either gonna embrace it or you're not, and that's cool. I mean, and
That's valuable because, I think my perspective on it's very functional.
mm-hmm.
Is that you want relationships with people,
Yeah,
but you want them to like you,
right.
not some false version of you
Yeah,
that you're creating. Because even if you lie and convince them to like you or whatever, you're always going to know deep down inside it's not you that they like.
right.
It's your lie that they like.
Yeah,
So I like to stay authentic, and not just for romantic relationships, but all relationships, business partnerships, friends.
right.
Yeah, a lot of people say that I'm very quiet. Some people actually think that I'm shy. I'm very intentional when I speak, and I know you shouldn't go around speaking all the truth in the world.
Right.
So, I just choose my words carefully if it's... and I can tell you one truth right now that I believe about every person I've ever met on the planet, is that they're all important.
Mm-hmm.
They all have some incredible, unique contribution to make to the world. And if they're hearing this right now thinking I could never do what Brent did, or I could never get where I want to be, or maybe they think they're not even worth it, they're wrong. I know they're wrong.
I second that.
They've got it in them.
They do.
And as soon as they can start having the courage, like you said, having the guts to go after it, to be afraid, but to do the hard thing anyway, to take the challenge. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I want that from everybody. And if everybody could get the courage to just speak the truth, we'd be doing a lot better.
We would.
Man.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm glad you're doing it. So what can we expect from you in the future?
Well, June 1st, I'm running a 50K.
That's so far.
Well, it's 32 miles of grinding, and I'm out training for it, It's one foot in front of the other till it's over.
How long does it take you, roughly?
My goal is around 5 hours.
You just run for 5 hours straight and cover 32 miles.
Yeah. That's my goal. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm going to give it hell,
Yeah. Gonna chase it down.
I just did the Carmel Marathon, and I was trying to qualify for Boston, and I missed it. I ran.
That's tough to qualify for, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's trying to do that.
Yeah, and
how close were you?
Pretty close. I ran it in 3 hours and 39 minutes. The marathon.
Man.
3 hours and 20 minutes was my cut. So basically 1 minute per mile I was off. And the first half of it I was on track, man. And for me, speed and distance you're in the pain zone. I mean, I had the war paint on and all of it, man, because I was going to war.
Yeah.
To do that shit, and at the halfway mark I was on point to make it, and I just couldn't keep the pace. I mean, as hard as I was going, man, I just couldn't. I just didn't.
Yeah.
I gave it everything I had, and I PR'd my marathon by a lot, because it was a challenge that's way the hell out there, and that's what I wanted to do, and it gave me humility and everything I knew it was probably going to give me.
That's good. I love the way you talk about when you fall short of a goal. You're like, I couldn't and I didn't. That's the best answer ever, man. Like, it's so many people they let themselves be so full of excuses. And I'm not saying that those excuses aren't real, but they just don't help.
They don't.
They don't help for the next one.
No. I mean, I did that, and a few days after, I'm like, I looked in my race packet for some of the stuff they give you, I looked, I saw 50K in there with a $20 off code. Because that stuff gets expensive.
Yeah, but that's not what I would have been worried about. That would have been the bottom of the list of what I would. How about the fact that it's 50K?
And I was like, baby, and she's like, okay, And so I'm like, boom, I signed up. I didn't think about it,
That's in a month and a half?
June 1st.
Oh, that's less than a month.
Yeah, and about whatever day it is today.
6th, yeah, so
24 days, man.
Feeling good? You feeling good about it?
Yeah, I feel good.
Yeah, you don't have to feel good, though, do you?
Well,
I know you well enough now to just, in the last hour, to know you'll just be like, fuck it, here we go.
Right.
You'll run it with COVID.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, I mean, you get so far into it and your legs feel like concrete and you want to quit. And, that's where the real shit kicks in, though. That's where I get angry. And I get angry.
Yeah.
And
that's where I say you get to meet yourself.
Yeah, man. That's where the magic is, and then you push through, and then it's, for 1 second, you feel like you've really done something, but you got 17 more miles. And you're like, oh shit, I'm right back in the pain cave, and you just keep rolling, though, and it's really weird. But anyway, I'm doing that, and then July 20th, my wife and I are doing a DECA challenge. So my 14th sober birthday is July 21st. The day before, we're doing a couples challenge in Fort Wayne. It's like a Spartan race. That's the umbrella, but this is a Deca challenge where you do a 500-meter run in between 10 different stations. 500 meters, farmer carry. 500 meters, box jump.
Oh, I see.
500 meters skier, that kind of shit. And we're doing it as a team. And then your records go against people all over the world, I guess. I mean, I've never really seen it, but we're like, all right. And she's like, well, don't get mad at me if I'm not going fast enough.
So is your wife into this stuff too, or are you dragging her in?
Oh, no. She's a warrior, man.
Yeah,
She's her own beast, I take nothing from her.
Good.
Funny story. I was teaching her how to box, and she was holding back. We were in the kitchen boxing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, don't hold back, and I was ducking. I wasn't punching her, and she was throwing, and out of nowhere, wham, she hooked me, busted me in the nose. Man, I was so proud of her, though,
You literally asked for it.
Right.
Yeah.
It was great, But it's cool, I've been hanging out of a tree, and I'll have her hit me with a stick, just some weird off-the-wall training. Because things, I like to train different ways, I mean...
Yeah, keep your body and your mind guessing.
Yeah.
Like novel stimulus.
Yeah.
I get that
Yeah.
for sure.
I was out running in the cold. It was 21 degrees, man. It was freezing.
I love the cold.
Yeah.
I love it because I hate it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And
I start every day in 43 degrees water. Yeah, you got to get crazy with it sometimes.
You do.
Just see what you're made of.
I found a railroad tie and picked it up and started doing squats with it, out in the middle of the woods. I mean,
yeah.
Just because I saw there's opportunities to grow everywhere, you can't just go to the gym and do the same shit all the time,
Yeah, so you've sort of changed your frame of mind. You just kind of look at the world that way now.
Yeah.
Like everywhere you go, does everything sort of feel like...
I mean, I'm a creature of habit. And I have a routine, and it because I have to.
Yeah.
It's just boom, boom, boom from 6 or 7 in the morning till sometimes midnight. I worked last night till 11:30, and I was right back up on the run this morning. But when I'm out doing stuff like that, that is when the stuff happens. Where I think. Of the next challenge, or whatever
That's
we're
great,
trying
man.
to do. So
sounds like you have a fun summer ahead. Good for you, man. Oh, well, I think that's probably a great place to wrap it up.
that's good. Yeah.
I'm so glad that you came and was willing to tell me your story. I hope a lot of people hear it, and I hope a lot of people get to hear you speak in the future.
I really appreciate it, and it's been a real pleasure, man. And I'm really honored to be here because I know you do great stuff, and I've watched you as well, and I'm really looking forward to your book, and I'll be reading it in Miami next week on the beach after I do a nice long run and getting tired. I'll sit there and
Excellent, man.
and I'll be reading it.
Excellent. Thanks. I appreciate it. Hey, and thanks for coming here. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you.
Appreciate you, bro.